The year is 2005. Anakin turns to the dark side. YouTube debuts, and we couch jump for Mariah, McDreamy, and a girl with a dragon tattoo. T-minus 20. Rewind 20 years with Joe and Mel.
Week of 27 March 2005.
T-minus 20.
Hey, what do you think this is, a talk show?
T-minus 20.
It's an icebreaker. Don't judge me yet. This is bananas. Now you will come home.
20.
My question is, who approved that shit?
Do you see where this is going?
20.
Not really.
20.
Hey, if it's your first time, thank you. Thank you for choosing to download this little podcast of ours where we rewind to this week in history 20 years ago. It is called T-minus 20, like it says on the thumbnail or whatever it is that you clicked on to get to here. It's not always about the destination. Sometimes it's about the journey, and we will take you on a journey back in time to this week 20 years ago with your host, Joe and Mel. Hello, Mel.
Hello, we are time travelling back to the 27th of March to the 2nd of April 2005 this week.
The hard-hit population of Western Sumatra have been again struck by a very large earthquake.
It was another earthquake. Another earthquake. So much tectonic activity, seismic activity, tectonic plates shifting. We'll save the science for the professionals. We'll talk about that in the news. It's a very unfortunate story.
It is with great sadness that it's been reported to us that Terry Schiavo has passed away.
Another unfortunate story. That one was a very interesting one that we'll get into in the news all around, I guess, right to life versus right to death.
A lot of ethics involved.
I
yes,
think anyone who's been following that kind of euthanasia narrative in this country these days will be very interested in that one.
Certainly after the crash and after I came to, I felt that there was a possibility that I might die here. So I think that definitely kicked me into gear.
That will kick you into gear. The fear of death will always kick you into gear. That was a big tragedy in the Australian Defence Force history this time 20 years ago as well. We'll talk about the big Sea King helicopter crash that occurred in April.
Yes.
2005.
I can't believe that one's 20 years ago.
Yeah,
That doesn't feel like
it's a
20 years
shocking
ago.
story, which, like I said, we'll get into. But before we do that, we just need to kind of loosen up, just shake things off a little bit and just, ease our way into the podcast. A lot of people would do their warm-ups behind the scenes before the big game.
not us.
But we're
too
like
lazy.
NRL referees who get out there in their uniforms and do their warm-ups on the field with the players as well, which
high
is
kicks,
ridiculous. So let me tell you,
Some arm circles.
we're not players, we're barely adjudicators, but we're warming up.
I'd
So.
like to stretch on over
Yeah.
to the phenomenon that is the Stanley Cup.
A Stanley Cup,
The
not
Stanley
the ice
Cup.
hockey, not the ice hockey cup.
Oh, is that what you win
That's
in the
the
ice?
Stanley Cup.
No,
not
I'm
that
talking about the
Stanley Cup.
vessel that women drink out.
The drinking
This
vessel.
thing's been popular for a few years
Yeah.
now. I'm a bit, I realise this. I realise it's not a new thing.
Yes.
It's been going for a little while.
Hydration has been going on for quite some time. It kind of is a
just-
basic human thing.
I just don't understand why they're so popular. What's so good about them?
Stanley Cups.
We're talking about
Are these
$80. $80.
Are these big stainless steel?
These ones with the handle.
They're like a mug, and they taper at the end so they can fit in
So they
the
can go in your cup holder.
of
That's
the
actually
car.
good.
Yeah,
That's
that is
helpful.
quite good. Yeah.
And then they bring out all these limited edition ones. And it's not like you buy one and then
isn't
you're
that
done.
isn't that just an excuse to sell
But they
anything? Like
bring
limited
out-
edition. Does it
like
do the same thing?
The green St. Patrick's Day quencher.
That's limited edition.
Is limited
it?
edition.
A colour is a limited
The
edition.
Valentine's Day quencher, which
red,
is pink.
It's red or pink.
Pink
Okay,
for
yeah.
romance. Messi. Is that the
Oh,
footy guy?
the
Doesn't he
football
wear
player?
pink?
Yeah, maybe.
There's the
I
pink
don't know.
one.
I guess.
There's in the Australia limited edition, green and gold.
course.
Isn't that a horrible colour combination? Just PS.
It's quite tacky. Yeah.
Limited edition Barbie, Lunar New Year. So you don't just buy one.
There's a
it's not
range.
set and forget. You keep collecting them.
This
and
is
then
this.
like $80 for a freaking cup.
How's the dopamine? Can you afford? Is it a money can't buy
I've
dopamine
seen
hit when you purchase a Stanley Cup?
Dazzled ones with crystals.
Take your first sip
Hundreds
of
of
water.
dollars.
Does it do anything to the water? Does it make at that price? Does it make the water taste any different?
Oh, look, here's a special one that's like $160.
What does it do?
I don't know. It's just got a pretty picture.
What is it, like a sort of a Stanley Cup at one end
Tyler
and a flashlight at the other end? Because they kind of look like
Hello
flashlights.
Kitty.
Yeah.
And at like a minimum $80 a pop, I honestly don't get it, but I'm really glad that I guess this sounds like a booming segment, to be honest. But Thank you.
Yeah,
I am
you're welcome.
booming a bit. I do like, though, that the youth are now drinking water, because I don't think I ever drank water growing up. I
Yes,
can't
I
recall ever drinking a glass of water until probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably about 10 years
we
ago.
didn't used to drink water.
Is that a thing? Did you drink water? Did you ever have water?
No. As a kid?
I had
no.
it in cordial. That was my water
in
intake.
cordial. Maybe from the bubbler every now and then.
I drank out of the hose once, but
Yeah.
it tasted disgusting.
I would have-
tasted like rocks and spiders.
We had soft drink. We had so much soft drink as kids. And it's, this is not I'm not having a go at bad parenting. Or it was
That's just
different.
that's the 80s.
It was a
It's
different
80s.
time.
Different time.
Nowadays, we know better, so we do better. Okay, but we had about probably 4 litres of Coke in the fridge going at any one
you had
time,
Coke.
so we didn't run out of Coca-Cola.
We had
Yeah.
the Sharps brothers, and it was
Sharps
it was a
brothers.
guy who'd drive around in a ute.
a little soft drink truck.
And you'd buy and you'd leave your empty bottles out, and they'd give you new bottles,
Yeah.
glass bottles, too dangerous.
Yeah, they used to do
they'd
that in
switch on,
Cootamundra.
and you could
Yeah.
choose. You could choose the flavour. There's like
Yeah.
cola. And
I had the Shelley's
orange.
lemonade truck in
Shelley, you
Cootamundra.
had Shelley's. We had the
Shelley's lemonade.
Sharps
Shelley's and
brothers.
Sharps.
The
Yeah.
Sharps brothers.
Yeah, those were the days.
Milk,
Back when-
Ovaltine. I drank a lot of Ovaltine growing
you?
up.
Yeah, I was a quick guy.
Activite.
Quick and Milo.
Whatever happened to Activite?
I think you can still get it,
That
can't
was
you?
good.
Yeah.
Tang.
Tang. I didn't do much Tang.
I liked Tang.
Did-
that was
did-
like powdered orange
a lot
juice.
of Coddy's lemon or raspberry cordial.
But drinking water just wasn't a thing, was it?
Orange juice. Drank a load of orange juice because, apparently it was good for you.
Yeah,
Turns
orange
out it's
juice
full
and
of
milk.
sugar.
Orange juice
But
and
now
milk.
now we know that you need to drink water.
Milo.
That actually helps you survive a lot better.
I think I first realised that I should be drinking water. It's probably a little bit more than 10 years ago when you started buying water, when you started buying the bottles of Evian.
I reckon.
I was outright. I was a teenager and I was booming at that. I was like, $2 for a bottle of water. I could just get that out of the tap. Not that I ever did.
I think you realise that you need to drink water, and it's a rite of passage. It comes pretty much after the rite of passage of your first big binge drink when you get absolutely faced.
Yes.
And you wake up with your first hangover and you feel like a cat has in your mouth. And you think, I need water. That's when you start drinking water, let's face it. Oh,
Or Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Gatorade's good for a hangover. I drank Gatorade,
It's not too bad.
the orange one.
You know what else is really good? Pickle juice.
I was waiting for you to say tomatoes with salt. People always
Tomatoes
used
with
to
salt
say that.
also
Is that
really
even
good.
true, or is
Yeah,
that
it's
just a
but
rumor?
It's the salt. It's helping you.
Oh, the
with your
electrolytes and the salt and the
Electrolytes,
tomatoes.
Yes.
Pickle juice.
Pickle juice got the electrolytes
Pickle
in it.
juice.
Pickle juice is great for
Really?
a hangover. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you've got an aversion to it, unless you chunder all the bad stuff out anyway, it just helps. It's a catalyst. Anyway, we actually do have to do the hatch, match and dispatch clue.
yes.
I was a bit ahead of myself. I almost thought we were in the news segment, and I'm like, could you imagine that? And now here's the news. Nobody's going to take the news seriously with that sort of a stinger. But they will take the hatch, match and dispatch clue seriously. The
Yes.
segment we do at the end of the show, hatches, matches and dispatches. We usually talk about a birth or a wedding or divorce or a death.
It's a serious one this week. It's
It
a
is
death,
it's a death. It's a celebrity that passed away this time 20 years ago that said this.
Dear young people of America, what I wish to you, listen to his voice. Do not be afraid.
Yeah, cool. All right. Listen to his voice and don't be
Don't
afraid.
be afraid.
Find out who that person is at the end of the show. Okay, so we're back into the serious with
Yes.
the news.
Serious
now.
face.
This is, and there were we had the Boxing Day, I said this last week, Boxing Day tsunami, we had the earthquake in Japan,
Japan
the
last
Fukuoka
week,
earthquake.
yes.
Now we've got another one in Indonesia.
Yes, in Sumatra, in fact, on the 28th of March, magnitude 8.6 strikes off the west coast.
That is a big one.
That is massive.
Very big, yeah.
And this is just 3 months after the Boxing Day earthquake and tsunami, obviously causing widespread panic and concerns that another tsunami similar to what happened in December was going to happen again.
The hard-hit population of Western Sumatra have been again struck by a very large earthquake. This is not an aftershock. It is one of those earthquakes you call a great earthquake because it's between 8 and 9 on the Richter's scale. It has created a lot of panic in Sumatra, all over the island. It was very, very easy to feel how big it was. We do not have reports of any tsunami yet anywhere, and we have also only limited reports of damage.
So that was the United Nations Disaster Relief Coordinator, Jan Egeland, briefing the United Nations. And you heard him say about the tsunami there. I think a lot of people were really worried that there was going to be a tsunami, but there was 1,313 dead, hundreds injured. You look at some of the footage online and I was looking at them, there was just like people filming things with, like suddenly like people are able to video stuff. So there was people filming some cars, just a couple of four-wheel drives, just parked sort of on a paddock, and they were bouncing around.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, oh my God, that's terrifying. And just weird to see. So buildings collapsed, all the infrastructure damaged, hospitals, schools, homes, people. It was like they said, 8.6, very large, felt as far away as places like Thailand and Malaysia and Sri Lanka, and that big fear from what happened earlier on in the year.
And you can understand why, because when you look at the Boxing Day tsunami, that earthquake was
late last year, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. That was 9.1 to 9.3 magnitude, and we're looking at 8.6.
Still
so
very
it's pretty
large.
close.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't result in a tsunami, but not in a major event. There were some small tsunami-esque waves that were generated, but nowhere near as destructive as what
I
we
remember
saw
the
at
news
end of
reports at the
2024.
time, and I remember hysteria as a result.
Yeah.
People immediately went to, well, that's in a similar spot and it's really big and there's going to be another tsunami.
And of course, your mind would go straight to that firstly, but secondly, because people were so unprepared the first time, you'd be wanting to just get out of there, wouldn't you? You'd be taking every precaution you could off the back of what happened last time.
It's like, okay, the earthquake happens and you experience the earthquake, which probably doesn't go for a very long period of time, like up to a minute maybe. I don't know. But I looked at the footage and it seemed to happen very quickly. Maybe it was a bit longer than a minute. So that passes, and then immediately it's like, what's broken? What's coming next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And how do I get out of here? People were absolutely freaking out. And unfortunately, because Australia is very close to Indonesia, we had a presence over there and we sent our military over there to assist. And then we had a massive tragedy happen on the 2nd of April when Australian military personnel were involved in the Westland Sea King helicopter crash, the call sign Shark 2 helicopter crash on Nias Island in Indonesia, while they were trying to provide all the humanitarian aid following the earthquake.
It resulted in the tragic deaths of 9 Australian military personnel, making it one of the worst peacetime losses for the Australian Defence Force. On March 28th, it took off from HMAS Canimbla, which is an Australian Navy ship that is deployed for disaster relief. And they were heading over there to help with the efforts and the cleanup and what happened after the earthquake. It was delivering medical personnel and supplies to a remote village on Nias Island. And upon approach, it suddenly lost control and crashed near a soccer field in a village. 9, as we mentioned, died. That was 9 of the 11 people on board. They died instantly, while 2 survived with really serious injuries.
Certainly after the crash and after I came to, I felt that there was a possibility that I might die here. So I think definitely kicked me into gear. There's no way I wanted to die in a helicopter 8,000 kilometres from my home, so I just didn't want to die there. Even to this day, I can clearly recall the sound. It plays over and over in my head, the sound of the crash over and over and over again. So I'll never forget it.
That was leading seaman Shane Warburton speaking to 60 Minutes about the crash. So obviously one of the two survivors. What I find interesting is that the aircraft, like, it lost control, and you say it crashed near a soccer field in a village. And I think that probably speaks to the thinking or the foresight of the pilot to at least try and I don't know that you've got a lot of control over a helicopter when it goes down, but trying to put it in a soccer field rather than in the middle of the village is pretty bloody gutsy. But look, it was due to a mechanical failure. So something had gone wrong with this crash. It was due to a mechanical failure, which resulted in lawsuits and all sorts of stuff. And the families of the victims wanted explanations. That 60 Minutes report is gut-wrenching. Ray Martin did it. And it talks about how the personnel have to come to the family's house and tell them about their family member passing away in the crash, which is just dreadful, and how they go through, like, because, you know, that it's so far away. You imagine, I mean, it's bad enough when somebody passes away and they're in sort of the area and at least you can kind of get some closure, but when people are very far away, obviously that distance and that helplessness is just compounded.
And they're doing something to help others as well.
So compounded. And they've probably done it a million times, so you'd never expect it to happen, but it was this mechanical fault. And I think it was down to like a bolt and a nut with a split pin in the top of the bolt to hold the nut in place that wasn't inserted properly, and it fell out and it caused something to fail, which basically led to the crash. There's a whole bunch of stuff in that report on 60 Minutes that you can check out online, but that caused this mechanical failure in the flight control system. And then while they're trying to improve it and investigate, they grounded the entire fleet of Sea King choppers.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it was terrible. And equally as terrible, on the 31st of March, is the passing away, or is it? See, this is a really interesting story, this one.
This is a really interesting one from an ethical standpoint. And as we look at things like right to die and quality of life, this was an event that I think really brought it into the discussion. Terry Schiavo, after a prolonged legal battle over her right to die, she dies on the 31st of March after the removal of her feeding tube. This sparked national debates on ethics, legality, and family rights around life support. So she suffered a cardiac arrest back in 1990. They think it was due to suspected potassium imbalance, and the cardiac arrest led to severe brain damage. She entered what was diagnosed as a persistent vegetative state, or PVS, leaving her unable to speak, eat, or move independently.
Yeah, and this had, like, there's kind of two sides to it. So there's the husband who basically wants her to die with dignity, or I don't know if it's die with dignity, but it's like she's never getting better. And obviously sees some sort of futility in keeping her alive. But then there's her parents who think that she has a little bit of awareness and may recover. They're just, while there's life, there is hope. Okay. It's a minefield to navigate, right? Like, there's so many sensitivities around this, and you can understand why people have whatever feelings they have. So it's really treacherous and hard to kind of get around all the emotion behind it. And you definitely can empathize with the husband who wants to just be like, all right, well, this is it. She doesn't have much quality of life. So what's the point of life continuing if there is no quality? Just end it. And then there's the parents with where there's life, there's hope. So there's like so much legal red tape as well.
There was 14 legal appeals.
Yeah.
There was multiple state and federal court rulings. The president, George W., even got involved at one point. So we got to 1998, so 8 years after she was in cardiac arrest.
She is on life support.
8 years.
No sign of improvement for 8 years.
Can't speak, can't eat, can't move.
Yes.
So 1998, her husband Michael files to remove her feeding tube. He said that she wouldn't want to live in this condition. And that's when her parents stepped in and said, well, we think there's a little bit of hope that she might recover. Medical experts then, because it's going to court, medical experts testify that she was...
Like 1 opinion, 2 opinion, 3 opinion, 4. Like you're just trying to get as many as you can to try and support your argument, basically.
Yeah, they said that she definitely was in this persistent vegetative state. There was no chance of recovery. And the judge ruled that Terry wouldn't have wanted to live like this, and the judge ruled that her feeding tube be removed. It's then removed for the first time in April 2001.
Yeah.
So 3 years after he files to remove it. Her parents appeal, arguing that new medical treatments that have now come into play could help her.
Yeah.
The judge rejects those arguments, but the feeding tube is then reinserted after they made an appeal to Florida's 2nd District Court of Appeal.
It's so gross. They're just like losing sight of the fact that there's a human being here, but they're almost.
But both sides are doing what they feel is right as well. Like imagine,
and they're fueled by grief and all of this sort of stuff. The thought of like, regardless of whether she's in a persistent vegetative state, like they're saying, right? You don't know if she can feel pain or anything like that, right? And it's like you got a tube down your throat feeding you, right? And they remove that, or maybe it's intravenous, I don't know, but you are starving that person to death, regardless of whatever their brain or cognitive function is, or what they feel or don't feel, or whatever that you don't know about. You're starving them out. Like that's how you're allowing them to die. So the keeping her alive is not ideal either, maybe, depending on where you sit with this. I mean, in my opinion, I'd be like, well, what quality of life? Like, let's look at quality of life, right? But then quality of life, also speaking to starving someone to death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awful.
Yeah.
You know.
The tube's removed again in October 2003.
Wow.
Jeb Bush, who's the Florida governor at the time, steps in, signing a new law called Terry's Law that ordered the tube be reinserted.
And like it's branded, you know, and it's a political football. It's just gross. Yeah.
Michael, her husband, challenges the law, arguing it violated the Florida Constitution. 2004, the Florida Supreme Court struck down Terry's Law, ruling that the government couldn't interfere in personal medical decisions. Multiple legal battles back and forth for years. We get to the 18th of March 2005 and a court orders the tube's removal again. Congress and President George W. Bush intervene, passing a law allowing federal courts to review the case. The federal courts then refused to overturn the decision. She dies 13 days after the tube was removed, aged 41
13
on the
days.
31st of March.
13 days it took her to die after they took that feeding tube out. Like that is torture.
Yeah.
That's torture.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my opinion. I mean, what would you do? Like if I was in a, like, this is a horrible hypothetical, right? But if I was in that state, man, I'm like, this just makes me think, oh, well, maybe we should speak to someone and get it all written down, like now, right?
That's what this brought up. So not just right to die versus right to life. It also brought up having those discussions and the need to have a will in place, but also having these types of discussions with your loved ones, because who does have the ultimate say? The spouse, the parents, and that's where the grey area was. It was, well, who can make this decision on her behalf when she hasn't made these wishes known? Her husband said she wouldn't want to live like this, but there was nothing.
She wouldn't want to die like that either.
There was nothing on the record. But why then if they don't want to sustain her and keep her alive, is there another way to do it? When you look at things like the process for euthanasia, why would you not maybe consider an option like that as opposed to just taking the tube out and seeing what happens? I don't know.
Like when it's your life support system, that's the only thing that's keeping you alive. Like the only thing is that feeding tube, right? That's keeping you alive. Then, you know, there's no quality of life there, right? Like when you've got like a terminal illness and there might be a little bit of hope that with treatment and whatever you can make some recovery or extend your life, then that's a bit different.
And you can still have a say in it too.
But you've got to have a say.
Yeah.
You've got to have a say, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, horrible way to live, terrible way to die.
Yeah, and it did bring up, obviously, the right to die versus right to life. Who should have the final say? Also, government involvement.
Well,
Should
look how
state and
much the
federal
politicians-
lawmakers
She was a football.
be
right?
part of that? Yeah. And then medical ethics as well.
Well,
If she's in
'cause-
that state, but also then what happens if a little bit, like her parents were saying, what happens with medical breakthroughs? And you look at what they talk about. Now, I was listening to a podcast the other day and
Yeah.
someone's talking about, oh, yeah, in 20 years' time, your brain's going to be interwoven with AI and we're all going to live up in the cloud. So if that's really what's going to happen in 20 years' time, then if someone's in that type of state, do you prolong it so that they can come and live in the cloud too?
Well, not in that state because, I mean, she had brain damage.
yeah,
like
that's
she
true.
was brain damaged. So you can't, I mean, but, you know, it's like a time machine. Did she have a backup copy that she could download? Right? Okay, that's really sci-fi and a bit out
I
there.
know. I
don't wanna
can't even understand 3D printing, so
wanna
that's a little bit too much for me.
I don't want to kind of disrespect it, but it like there is just it is a minefield.
Yeah.
And it's like, I reckon, and I think it should be down to the individual, but there will be laws and governments and stuff that get in the way with that. But you should absolutely clearly articulate.
It comes down to having the conversation. If she'd had that conversation and it had been recorded somewhere and everyone was aware of it, people would know. But we don't like talking
but
about
she's
death.
41 and
We
that
don't
happened to
like-
her. She's 41. That
Yeah.
happened 8 years prior. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
she's
you wouldn't have
young.
known.
She's a baby. But
we also don't like talking about these things because we think that if we talk about it, maybe we're going to trigger something or jinx ourselves. It's not something that you talk about.
death or assisted dying.
Yeah, death and those sorts of scenarios or how you'd like your death to play out.
Well, the only thing I know is that if I'm going to talk to someone, like, obviously, if I'm in that sort of state, just please switch it off. But don't switch it off. Don't, like, you know, or put something good in the feeding tube, like some Ben and Jerry's, and then maybe, like, kill me with morphine or something like that, all right? Like, just, like, we are nicer to animals when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Yes,
you know, it
that's
kills us,
true.
it breaks our heart,
That's
but
true.
we are at least helping animals along their way so that they don't have to suffer, which I think is a wonderful thing. The only thing I want to make sure is that somebody plays Iron Maiden at my funeral. That's the only thing. Change of pace. Thank goodness. That was a dark news. That was one of the darkest news segments I think we've had since September 11. That was dark.
Yes, a difficult week of news.
You know it's not dark though? Golf.
No.
No, you have to play that during the day. Although now you can do the glow in the dark golf. And I did see the other day, oh my God, I should save this for when we open up a certain box that goes boom. Maybe I will. Remind me of the golf thing.
Okay, all right, sure.
Maybe. We're talking about golf. Annika Sorenstam. See, I'm not Swedish.
Sorenstam.
Annika Sorenstam, Swedish golfer, secured her third victory at the Kraft Nabisco Championship. I don't even think that's Swedish. I started to sound like a Nazi
Nabisco.
interrogator. Nabisco, the
That's
biscuits.
the biscuits.
The Kraft Nabisco.
Yum.
Cheese and Bickies.
Yum.
Cheese and Bickies tournament of women's golf held at Mission Hills Country Club, her 8th major title, solidifying her status as one of the top female golfers in the world.
Yes, she dominated the tournament, leading 3 strokes after 54 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling away on the final day, shot a final round 68 -4. Is that 4 under par? Is that what that means?
Whooshka!
To finish at 15 under par, full 8 strokes ahead of the nearest competitor. One of the most dominant major wins in LPGA history.
Oh, shut the gate, the horse has bolted.
Showcasing her precision, her power, and her mental
toughness. That's the thing. You know, this tournament is the one that they get. There's a big tradition with it.
Is it?
Yeah, at this particular course, what they do is they leap into a pond. I think it's around the 18th hole, called Poppy's Pond. Somebody started it. No, this dude will probably explain it better.
Poppy's Pond's a very significant moment for this event. It started, in 1988. Amy Alcott, it was her second win, impulsively just jumped in with her caddy. 1991, Dinah jumps in, and then by 1994, every champion since has jumped in or at least put a toe in. And it's, that's a 30-year tradition. So all the girls on tour now, no matter what age, grew up knowing that tradition, and it's worldwide, and so many people that don't know golf, don't know LPGA golf, always go, is that the one where they jump in the water?
Yeah, that is. It's the
That's
one where they
the
jump
one
in
where
the
they
water.
jump in the water.
Little tradition. So they
great.
finish, they know that they've won, and then they jump into the pond. And I looked over the years, over the 30-year history of Poppy's
pond
Pond
jumping.
and the pond leaping. And Poppy's Pond's water quality, the pH has obviously been tested, has improved over time. So I think somewhere maybe in those early years, one of the ladies might have picked up Giardia or something and end up
Blue-green.
the eye of a
algae.
needle or something like
Blue-green
that.
algae
Yes, not very
poisoning.
pleasant.
Ew.
Diving into Poppy's Pond is not recommended. So I think they threw some chlorine tablets or a shock. You know how you shock your pool? You throw in like just a load of chlorine just to
Maybe.
shock it, to shock all the algae and kill everything. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I am too. Otherwise, we can't be killing off those LPGA golfers. They're like rare diamonds and they need to be protected at all costs. If you've got a boomer complaint, this is the place for you. Let me tell you. No longer will you sit there and say something to a group of friends that might be a little bit of a beef or a gripe or a grievance that you have, only to be replied with the phrase, okay boomer, and then just feel shamed. There is no shame
we
here.
welcome them.
That's
we
it.
welcome
As
them.
we open up the boombox.
We enjoy them. So given, it's your show, so you can put your own boom in. What's your golf boom?
Okay, the golf thing. So I always golf is not the greatest thing for me to watch on. I know a lot of people watch golf; they enjoy it on the sport and stuff on the KO when they're watching the KO on the sport and they're enjoying the golf. I think it's a good walk spoiled, or an excuse to just drive around in a cart and drink beer for a few hours. But the golf, I was watching the other day going through a KO and there was golf and it was like Tiger Woods was playing and stuff, but they were indoors. They were indoors. It was virtual golf. So they were basically playing video game golf. What? And I thought, again, it's like the Twitch streamers and all of that sort of stuff when they're playing video games. See, back in my day, video games were a coveted item. And to watch somebody play meant that you were waiting for a turn.
Yeah.
You were waiting for a turn that you weren't having because the other person was hogging the console or the game or whatever. So to sit there and watch Tiger Woods play video game golf just reminded me of waiting for a turn. And that's my boom.
That's a good boom. Yeah.
I reckon it is. I just think, why would I sit there and watch people play video games? I want to see real feats of physical achievement, real feats of people exerting themselves physically to earn the accolade or the award or the right to jump into Poppy's Pond or loft that trophy above their head and bask in the glory that is the victory that they have attained off the sweat of their own back from a physical thing, whether it be dragging a golf buggy around and talking to a caddy and stuff, but not sitting there in front of a computer screen and looking at it and going, I'm going to hit the ball at the screen. It's going to pretend to sail over the horizon and then I'm going to try and putt the ball into the cup. Sorry, double boomed.
You did
I
double
boomed.
You
I
did.
apologise.
I have a supermarket-related boom.
A supermarket-related boom.
Yes, I like this one, and I suffer from this. I relate to this boom. I dream of a day when paper towel manufacturers just say how many rolls are in the package and not how many hypothetical rolls would be in the package if there was some other hypothetical size.
I hate
Isn't that annoying?
I hate that. It's like,
If
this
this
is
was
the
like the
roll.
extra large size and it's the equivalent of the 24 pack, but it's a smaller pack, but there's twice as much paper in here and it's not going to fit in your normal towel roll holder thing because it's like twice as big, but whatever.
Yes, but then if you fold it in half and get the two play, actually get double the value because there's two rolls in one.
Amazing.
I don't even understand.
No.
I don't understand.
No.
I don't understand. I'm not here to math. I'm not here to math the amount of sheets that I get in a roll. I buy things based on cheapness and absorbency. And that's going to become especially more important when I get older. Kind of happy that we opened up the boombox a little bit earlier in the show because I was able to
Got that out.
I feel fresh.
lighter?
I feel fresh.
You feel
a little bit
lighter.
lighter.
Got that
feel
load
like
off.
a lot lighter, but I don't know because
How long it'll
I don't
last.
cope very well with the music segment, and you know this better than anybody.
Oh, let's just jump in then,
All right,
shall we?
what do we got?
Maybe you can open up your boombox afterwards.
Oh,
if you
great.
need to.
Strap yourself in. Or
And-
should I say, snap yourself in? Maybe not.
Schnappy's not in the charts this
Good.
week, but that was
Thank
nice.
Christ.
Anthony Collier is still number one here in Australia with his single Rain. To say feel it on my fingertips, hear it on the window pane.
Different rain song.
Yeah, wrong rain.
Yeah.
Got my
wrong
rains
rain.
and stuff.
Nothing worse than crossing
Than
your
wrong
reins.
rain. I hate the wrong rain.
I'll tell you what, they're gonna have to. I'm sitting on top of the lid of the box, and I can feel the box sort of waiting to open itself
the
up again.
sideways rains. They give me the we have a new number one single over in the UK. Well, a new old song. It's a cover of, well, it's not even a cover. Is This the Way to Amarillo? It's a re-release of the 1971 song by Tony Christie. By comedian Peter Kay, but Peter Kay's not singing it. Tony Christie's still singing it. Peter Kay's just doing the video
dancing
clip.
around in the
doing the
film clip.
video clip. Massive hit. Charity, that's why.
The only reason I'm sitting here like this is because I
You don't have
forgot
the
to
song.
download it.
Well, because we could have just got the original from 1971.
That's
No
all
one
right.
would have
Well,
known,
I
'cause it's
promise
all about
you,
the video clip.
I promise you I'll put it in later on.
Yeah,
Like
you were
right,
looking sheepish.
Right, I know. I was sitting here and I could see that you were almost like, is he
How
going
many
to
more
play
words
it? I'll
do I
say
need to
some
make?
more things about it.
I'll keep making words.
Maybe he'll
His
play
finger
it.
hasn't moved to the button yet. What the f***'s going on here?
I'm sorry. I'm not going to play it. But
Okay.
what I will do is later on I'll put it in here.
Okay.
Is this the way to Amarillo? Every night I've been hugging my pillow, dreaming dreams of Amarillo, and sweet Maria waits for me. Show me the way to Amarillo.
And then we're
Great.
back from where I put
it
it in
sounds
there.
exactly the same as the 1971 version,
Right.
even though it's 2005.
Well, we're going to compare the two.
No, we're not, because it is the same song. It's just the
Okay.
video clip that we liked.
Good, because then otherwise I'd have to put the 71 version in here. But you're saying that I don't
Yeah, I don't
have
think
to,
you
so it
have
doesn't
to.
have to. So we'll
well, I don't
scratch
know.
that.
Maybe it is a little bit different. Maybe there's some noise in the video clip.
Is there anything else we need to
Peter
add?
Kay, yes.
Yes.
It was the Comic Relief charity music video for Red Nose Day, in fact. Red Nose Day. I love Red Nose Day.
Me too.
Just quietly.
Yeah.
He's lip syncing and marching through scenes with celebrity cameos, and
he's
everyone loved
lip-syncing
it.
to the original
he's
song.
lip syncing and he's marching along, and like there's two footy players behind him, and they start punching on, and then
So,
there's some Muppets that
Peter
come
Kay,
in.
a little bit ahead of his time. This is basically the world's first TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Effectively.
It is.
Ronnie from the two Ronnies, one of the Ronnies,
Ronnie Corbett.
he was in there and he's marching along with him and he tripped over and fell over.
down.
They were on green screen with all these backgrounds.
Well,
he
that's
fell
hilarious.
over. And well, Peter Kay's like, I don't want to put it in because poor old Ronnie fell over and hurt himself. And Ronnie's like, no, that's hilarious. Put it in. And they put it, and it is funny.
Good
It's
slapstick.
it's towards the end of the clip if you're interested. Just fast forward to
Peter
that's the
Kay
best
is a
bit.
very funny comedian. I
Very
love
funny.
the stuff where he talks about the misheard lyrics, which you can Google and watch on the YouTube.
Oh,
he talks about the
does
misheard. Yes, like I think it's like, is it We Are Family? And there's one line, it's like somebody strangled the vicar. Anyway, you just go and look at it for
Okay.
yourself. Yeah.
Well, they
Oh, no,
love him.
it's not strangled the vicar. Just let me staple the vicar. Anyway, you get the point.
Yes,
Peter
so
Kay,
there's lots
funny
of people.
man, great
Michael
single.
Parkinson was in there,
Yep.
Mr. Blobby, Phoenix Knights, footy players, and it inspired a lot of flash mobs, and it's played at football stadiums, weddings, pubs.
Isn't that lovely?
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Good charity. Sorry, I forgot to sing. But
That's
I
fine.
mean,
That's
in
fine.
post,
You've put it in there.
It's
no
happened.
no one even knows.
It's
No one would have
happened.
even.
Nobody will have-
Nobody would have even
They will be
noticed.
none the worse. They'll have no idea.
No idea.
No idea what's next.
No. UK top 5, please.
UK
Have
top
you got?
5.
Oh no, US. Wrong. U.
Okay.
US.
Is this the way to
Yes.
Amarillo?
Have you?
I'm not
no,
sure.
I'm lost. I got
Oh,
lost on the way
God,
to Amarillo and
help
I
me.
fell over.
There's nothing worse
Oh,
than being
gosh.
lost.
Fell over.
on the
Ronnie
way to-
Corbett tripped me over, and I just don't know what's going on.
Oh dear. It's been one of those podcasts. What are we doing? The top 5 from the USA.
US.
Everybody stand up. Everybody put your hands up. Let's party. Everybody bounce with me. Some champagne and burn a little greenery. It's hot. Disco Inferno. Let's go. You're now rocking with a pro.
But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on, yeah. Thanks to you, now I get what I want. Yes, I want
to the candy shop. I let you pop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa. I'll take you to the candy shop.
Whoa. Same songs as last week, but slight churn in that Disco Inferno is kind of being bumped out.
Oh, no, not with the amazing piano riff.
Well, yeah, you'll cope. Like Kelly Clarkson's rising up the chart. So we had Disco Inferno at 5.
Yes.
50 Cent.
Scissoring on.
Scissoring on.
4.
That's right, number 4, Kelly Clarkson. Obsession. Is that Frankie J dude? With
Feet.
Baby Bash.
Baby Bash.
It's not a very good name. It doesn't really stand up in this day and age.
No.
And then Boulevard of Broken Dreams, like Green Day, who have just recently toured Australia.
Did they?
Yeah. People really enjoyed it. I think it went very well. Candy Shop, 50 Cent in at number 1. Licking the lollipop. Don't
so
stop
seductive.
till you hit the spot. Whoa.
We didn't talk about Obsession last week.
We
so
didn't
wanted to
talk
save
about
some
Obsession.
information for this week. So
Okay.
can we talk about Obsession this
We
week?
sure can.
And it depends on where you look it up. So
Yes.
on the YouTube, it only has it's missing an S. And I was
Is
like,
it really?
did I spell
Is
that wrong?
Is that a typo?
And then I double checked. I was like, no, there's meant to be another S.
Okay.
No, well, I think it's actually a bilingual cover of a song called Obsession with one S and an umlaut over the O.
Obsession.
Obsession. Obsession with the
Umlaut.
Is
on
it an
the O.
umlaut? No, that's not an umlaut. That's an accent.
An accent.
Umlaut's the dots,
Yes,
isn't it? This is
it's not low and brow. It's not Motley Crue.
the little
It's the flick.
with the flick. Looks like
Okay,
an eyebrow.
Right, yes. But it's the same singer. So he covered his own song. He did one. Basically, he's done an English version and a Spanish version.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Frankie
That's what
J.
it is.
He's
Trying to
Mexican
get all
American.
technical with it, you're like, it's a bilingual dual, blah, blah, blah. It's like he's just done 2 versions.
He's done an English
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
And he's done it with as we mentioned, Baby Bash.
Mm.
And I think the fact that he then recorded the English version helped him kind of break through.
Yeah, so this is like Obsession English. There's still got a few like Spanish parts in it, because the No es amor, and then this bit, same.
Yes.
Then he uses the Obsession
like
song.
that one
Because the
better.
thing is when I was doing the English
That's
version
sexy,
like the
isn't
other
it?
week, and I'm like, I need to find the chorus. So it's like, obviously the word obsession must be in the chorus because it's in the song title. And I don't think it is actually
No,
in the chorus
it's
of
not.
the English version.
No.
But it is Obsession, which sounds French, but it's not. But that's because I'm a heathen. And it's just, that's what it is in the Spanish version.
Yes.
I'm glad we cleared that up. I
Frankie-
really am. We've opened the boombox. We've cleared that up. Now we've got to the bottom of this. I mean, I'm just throwing. I feel like a weight has lifted on my shoulders. I will sleep tonight
Yeah.
so soundly.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Frankie J started in the late 90s. He was in a Latino boy band called Cumbia Kings.
Of course he was.
Which was a cumbia pop group led by A.B. Quintanilla, who's Selena's brother.
Oh, Selena from that movie.
Oh, that's Selena.
That's Selena, yeah.
It was a very confident that's Selena's brother in the notes.
Well,
And I
that's
was
why.
like,
There's only one Selena, and
well,
it is
I was
Selena.
thinking of Selena from Home and Away.
No.
Was she Damien's sister?
I don't know.
Oh, no, that was Finlay. I was thinking, no. So Selena's brother,
Yes.
not Frankie J, A.B. Quintalina.
Mm.
But Frankie J goes solo in 2000 and shifts more towards R&B because Cumbia Kings actually is very reminiscent of Guzmán Gomez type music. It was that really
Oh, yes.
loudy, fast tempo
Yeah.
kind of style, whereas
Yeah.
he moved more when he went solo into the R&B and the
So-
Latin pop.
That gasolina.
Yes. It was a lot. Yes.
I'll have the loaded fries and some tacos. Oh, the gasolina.
How good's the street corn?
Oh, the street corn at
Street
Guzman y
corn's
Gomez.
great.
The street corn is pretty good.
very good.
It's not bad.
It's very
I
good.
think it's the combination of the cheese and the Chipotle mayonnaise that just makes it a real hit.
And the gasolina.
And the gasolina. The fact that you have to scream your lungs out and really earn it when you're ordering it at the counter also very helpful.
Yes, very satisfying. Frankie J featured on the single Sugar Sugar by Baby Bash. So they did a switcheroo.
Right.
So Obsession is Frankie J feat Baby Bash.
And then the other
But
one.
Sugar Sugar is Baby Bash feat Frankie J.
Oh, okay.
Sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, 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 sugar, how you get so fly?
Oh, I know that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's
I
not
like that
bad.
song.
That's all right.
Interestingly, too, I peeped his Insta.
And that's interesting.
It's interesting in the context of Guzman y Gomez because he's actively touring at the moment and he's set to appear on the Tacos and Tequila Festival.
Really?
He's traveling
Wow.
with the Tacos and Tequila Festival with Busta Rhymes.
So he's really
With Busta.
I mean, because I was like, I kind of feel a bit kind of on the edge, like a bit borderline, talking about Guzman y Gomez in association with any kind of Spanish music or anything like that, right?
Well, no, he's
but
owned
he's
it.
just
He's embraced
he's
it.
just leaning the into those racial stereotypes.
Tacos
isn't he?
and Tequila.
The Tacos and Tequila
with
tour.
Busta Rhymes.
With Busta Rhymes. As
That's a good
bit of
time.
side dish.
I'd
That
like to
is.
go.
That really is.
And I was reading the comments too on the YouTube about this song. People love it. People love it. People are still. I love on
The
YouTube.
Obsession.
Yes, I love on YouTube when you go and look at the
saying that French
comments.
is really bad.
And it's because all of these songs are from early 2000s, and there's always like a comment.
A memory attached to it.
Who's still here in 2025? And I'm like, yeah, me. I mean, it's
You
just
should
funny.
just, like,
Someone
go in
does
there
that
and-
comment every time.
You should
Who's
just
still
go in there and just
here?
be like, nah, didn't make it.
But someone's gone, I'm still here in 2019.
Right.
And they were saying, I was having my early 2000s jam session, couldn't pass this song up. I remember when I was in middle school and this song had black people, white people, and Asians singing in Spanish. And most of us didn't know what we were saying, but it sounded nice.
Yeah, that'll do. Fair enough. Let's do movies. Movies. This is this movie that came out that went to #1 in the US box office is a remake of a classic comedy film that also had a bit of an edge to it because the original came out in a time when these issues were very much like there was still a big race divide, and I mean there still is a race divide, but it was much bigger back in the day, like the 60s, right? So this is a remake of the film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher.
Simon Green had the perfect life.
I'm so excited!
A man is never excited about meeting his future father-in-law. Did you tell them?
Tell them what?
That I'm white.
You're white? Stop the car! It was a joke. I was kidding.
Until he faced the ultimate challenge.
Hey, my man, Percy Jones. Oh, pleased to meet you. Man, I like that solid grip.
Oh, no, Dad. You see,
Hey, my man, take to the front door for me.
Yes, sir.
Dad, this is Simon.
That's a boyfriend name, ain't it?
Yeah. Percy, I need you to be nice.
Always nice. You didn't tell me he was white.
What, there are no available young black men in New York anymore?
Yeah, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac's a funny guy, very distinct voice. But that is a race reverse version of the 1967 classic Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Like I said, instead of a black man meeting his white girlfriend's conservative parents, like in the 1967 version with Sidney Poitier, who is a fantastic actor and it's a fantastic movie, they flip it so that it's a 2005 script where a white guy, a pretty fly white guy, meets a black girl's family. So you got Bernie Mac as the dad, Ashton Kutcher as the boyfriend, Zoe Saldana as the girlfriend, and Judith Scott as the mum. Right? She brings him home, meets the family. The dad's suspicious because he's not aware that he was white. She'd never explained to him he's white. And then he comes to dinner and it's like, oh, surprise, he's white. And then he
Yes.
starts probing.
Digging into his past.
Mm.
And Simon tries to impress Percy in lots of awkward situations.
That's the dad, Percy, yeah, Bernie Mac's character.
And he hides the fact that he's lost his job, making things worse, lots of misunderstandings and heartfelt moments. And in the end, of course, Percy finally accepts Simon. This was probably one of Bernie Mac's last big comedy films before he
'cause
passes
died.
away in 2008. Yeah.
It's a good movie. It was good. It was a remake. I like the original better, but I won't say that it was bad because it wasn't. And it had a good message behind it. And Bernie Mac is funny every day of the week. Ashton Kutcher got on my nerves a little bit. Zoe Saldana, completely beautiful. Really good. Bernie Mac, awesome. Good movie. I don't give it anything. Let's go to what did we have? We had Robots in Australia.
Yes.
That was the number one
We've
film, the
already
animated film, which we've already discussed. So we go to TV.
We had a massive debut this week 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the biggest shows of the early 2000s.
Oh, yes.
I think it's still, I should know this. I think it's still running. I feel
And
like
it's
it is.
kind of
had
that
spin-off.
Is it still running? I don't know if it's still running, but maybe it is. You might be right.
I think it is.
But it kind of was the bridge between network TV and streaming, wasn't it? It's like one of the last big network TV programs.
Yeah, it was, and it was one, it would be on once a week and you'd just hang out. And it was another one of those shows that was on Prime when I was working at Prime. So I used to have to voice all the promos. And I just remember week after week, it was like,
every single week.
I'm like, how much shit can happen in this one hospital?
The busiest hospital on the planet.
The Grey's Anatomy hospital.
You would swear they were in a third world country, but no.
Long-running medical drama debuts on the 27th of March,
The
2005.
27th of March, 2005.
Created by Shonda Rhimes.
Shonda Rhimes.
Surgical drama, intense relationships, emotional storytelling.
I like that surgical drama.
Surgical drama. Love a bit of surgical drama. One of TV's most successful enduring
series. Yeah.
Follows Meredith Grey as the main character, hence the Grey's Anatomy. She's the intern at the start of the show who struggles to balance her personal life and medical career. That's exactly how I did those promos too.
yeah.
Uncanny how much you sound like me. It's excellent.
Uncanny.
Showcases the lives, relationships, and careers of the doctors as they navigate medical cases, love, loss, personal drama. It was really known for these big character deaths as well.
Character deaths.
And
Yes.
everyone was just, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Could not, no. And there was a lot of those.
And then the promo would be like, ding, ding, but they did.
Yes.
Exactly.
They did. I remember one where they're like, what was the hospital? Something hospital.
The hospital. I don't know what the hospital was.
Something Grace.
Seattle Grace.
Seattle Grace.
Seattle Grace. Seattle Grace Hospital.
And I remember I did one promo and it was like, and I had to do it in that kind of voice because they were like, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, they've had this and they've had that. And then it was like, but they've never had a code black.
Ooh,
And they
I
did
like
like
that.
Code Black over the PA. And Code Black was a guy that had a bomb in his guts.
Oh, that is a
And
code black.
Meredith had to get it out of his guts. And she's like standing there holding her arm in his guts and holding the bomb. And I was just like, what? How do you even think of this?
I just went straight to Queanbeyan Swimming Pool. I was like, but they've never had a code brown.
Oh, yes, they have.
There's
Plenty
been a
of
water
times.
quality incident at the pool and we've had to close for the rest of the day.
Plenty
No,
of
this is a
times.
code black.
It was a bomb in a body cavity.
That's hideous.
Yes. And then I think, and that was one of those ones where it's like, oh, holy fuck. So it blows up and it blows up one of the interns. He just
And is it like
blows him up.
the shocking season finale of Grey's Anatomy?
The explosive
Oh, the
season
explosive.
finale.
How could I have missed that? Jesus.
Intern all over the walls.
This is why you succeeded in that business and I was just carrying the bags and wearing the possum outfit from time to time.
So Ellen Pompeo?
Yes,
Meredith
Pompeo.
Grey?
That's the one. Yes.
Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, that's the McDreamy dude.
Derek
Yes.
Shepherd. Oh my
He was
goodness.
the neurosurgeon, wasn't he?
Yes, and I think her boss at the
Yes,
start.
and Meredith
she-
had the hots for
She
him.
bonked him, and then she
Yes.
found out he was he was the boss the next day. That was
Yes.
awkward.
Uh,
Sandra Oh, I liked her character, Christina. She was straight talking, no nonsense, Christina. Catherine Heigl as Izzy.
Yes, I was on Team Izzy.
Team Izzy.
Yeah, the determined intern.
And Justin Chambers as Alex, the
I didn't
cocky
like
intern.
him. Didn't like him. I was more, like I said, Team Izzy.
But of course, it did bring us the McDreamy.
Oh, yes, and the endless references.
I kissed Eric. I kissed Eric? In the elevator. Oh, you kissed him in the elevator? I was having a bad day. I am having a bad day.
So what you do on your bad days? Make out with Dr. McDreamy.
Think she told anyone?
About you and McDreamy?
Yeah.
Do they know it's McDreamy keeping them up all night?
I hope not. What is your problem?
You. Because apparently you can help Dr. McDreamy in ways the rest of us can't. Why are you back here tonight? You don't have a date with McDreamy?
More like McMarried.
Do not breathe a word of what you heard last night to anyone. Not about me, not about Meredith, not about Meredith and Dr. McDreamy.
Hey, Dr. Burke. Joe? Who the hell is Dr. McDreamy?
McDreamy. And then we started putting Mcs on everything after
I
McDreamy.
think it's good that they've got some McLight when they've got the McCode Black happening as well.
The bomb in the body
Yeah.
cavity. And then there was McSteamy too.
Oh,
I think that was
McSteamy.
in season 2.
Yeah, that's what happens after you get rid of the bomb in the body cavity. You end up with a McSteamy from Cleveland, no less. Whew.
Wow. So I the first episode, I know that she gets it on with McDreamy, and then it's all awkward because, hello, I'm your boss.
Oh, yeah. So
I went to,
that's right, because she was unaware that he was the boss. And she,
And I thought I'll find out what happened. I'll go to Television Without Pity in the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine was very laggy today. I don't know what was going on. It was a bit hit and miss.
I think there's a lot of users out there that are
very
just
laggy.
hankering for a better
Very
time.
laggy,
I think that a lot
and-
of people, given the current global economic whatever climate, I think people
Well,
are just
can
like,
they stop? Because
let's-
it took me 18 minutes to get into the Grey's Anatomy forums today.
It's like, this. I'm going the Wayback Machine. That's what's happening. Because
Take me back.
The world's horrible.
Take
at
my
the moment.
AI brain in the cloud back to 2005 for a good time. Maybe that's what future people are doing. Maybe future people are uploading their brains into the Wayback Machine and actually going back with their brains and the AIs.
Exactly right. I want to
Maybe
be.
that's why it was laggy.
I want to be optimistic now.
There's future you and me jumping in the Wayback Machine for realsies with our brains.
I want to be optimistic, Mel. But we are in a world of right now, and the only place that people may be finding solace is in the Wayback Machine.
True.
And that's
It's
all
not
I have
even
to say
funny.
about
It's
that.
true. Anyway, it took
Exactly.
me ages to get in the Wayback Machine.
But you got in there.
I got in there and OMG. So they didn't do recaps of season 1 of Grey's Anatomy. They only got onto the recaps in season 2 for some reason, whatever. I found all the forums.
Oh,
The Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy
the Grey's-
forums.
Did you know in the Grey's Anatomy? So there was one called Grey Matter, ha ha ha, where they talked about the actors.
Yes.
There was one called Grey Natter,
Grey
where they
Natter.
just talk shit.
Where
And then
they
there was
just talk
and then there was like a kind of anything goes, which included fan fiction. There was a very active.
Oh, the fan fiction is a
the fan
horror story
fiction,
waiting to happen.
You had to click on links, and I was like, I don't think I can trust a fan fiction Grey's Anatomy link.
Because straight away,
I'm very scam aware at this time of year, and I feel like something bad would happen to the house computer if I clicked a fanfic link about McDreamy.
I reckon you'd be all right. There's only 2 ways that the fan fiction can go, and it's either sex or furry sex. No, it's or sex or horror. Generally.
I didn't go. I didn't go in the fan
They're
fiction.
just gonna write their own
There was a very
scenarios.
active game of Grey's Anatomy Hangman.
Really?
Yes.
What? Oh, so the clue was obviously
so
something
someone
to do with
puts
the
like
show.
the ... like dash ...
And
like
then the
Hangman,
clue, yeah, well-
and then someone will do a letter,
Right.
And then they'll be like starting to draw the hangman. And it's like phrases or catchphrases or like it's things to do with Grey's Anatomy, like Grey's
Right.
Anatomy hangman. Isn't that brilliant?
Like, so who died in season 11, episode 21?
Well, no, there's not even a clue.
Oh,
it's just
really?
you just got to guess the word.
Are you kidding?
That's how crazy. Like they get them too really quickly.
Yeah, that's madness.
Grey's Anatomy hangman.
That's madness. Everyone else is doing Wordle, but the Grey's Anatomy people, the fans on the forums, they're woke, mate.
Hangman.
They're in the true sense of the word, not this stupid definition of woke these days. Like woke as in they know what the is going on.
So anyway, I went into Grey Matter, and just to get a fan
That does seem
recap
like
of
the
season
more
one.
highbrow out of the four of us.
Grey Matter, because I was like, well, I get that. That's
There's an
good.
element
Good play
of
on,
importance.
play on words.
It
and
matters.
they know what's happening. So I thought I'll go into episode 1, season 1 recap in Grey Matter.
Right. What'd you find?
Does anyone have a screen cap of McDreamy's ass? No screen cap here, but I'll be fondly remembering what we almost saw for the rest of my life, lol.
Right.
I just keep replaying it and replaying it and replaying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That will be a mental screen cap that never leaves the brain. Millions of women across America have that screen cap. That was the season 1.
So this is how chicks
recap.
talk about their wank banks.
Yes. Does anyone have a screen cap of McDreamy's ass?
want to get off on Patrick Dempsey's butt.
That was the recap of episode 1.
Don't we all?
Who's got the screen cap?
Yeah.
But then I also found the Grey's Anatomy haiku forum.
See, now that sounds a bit nicer.
And so from season 1, episode 1,
Yeah.
McDreamy, I swoon. Could your curls look more luscious? Pray for turtlenecks.
That's really sweet. It's like a sweet haiku.
Isn't it? It? So memorable episodes of Grey's Anatomy. We've talked about the bomb in the body cavity.
Yeah, that seems to be like one of the best ones.
One of the biggest ones. And I never really I think I watched a bit of season 1 because I had to read the ads. I don't think I watched a lot of season 2, but season 2, episode 27.
Right.
Which is incidentally 10 episodes after the bomb in the body cavity.
Uh-huh.
Denny's death. So Denny was going steady with Izzy.
Oh,
who you
Katherine
like.
Heigl's character, yes.
And he needed to get a heart transplant. And he's on the waiting list. And on the waiting list and on the waiting list. A dog didn't need it. That was One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
On the waiting list. And so he gets the transplant. And I think she cuts some wire and does something because she's the girlfriend, but she's also the doctor and she's doing stuff. And he dies.
Oh, Jesus.
Denny dies.
But
So this is what I mean. They do these shocking deaths.
Oh, my God. And it was Izzy's fault.
She puts on her prom dress because she was going to wear her prom dress to the wedding, thinking she's going to marry him. So I think they were going to get married after he got the heart transplant.
After he had the transplant in the hospital.
And she goes in there and she finds him dead.
Oh.
And then she had the big downward spiral.
Jesus. That's a lot. That's like, see, and that's the thing. Like, it might have been a different time. I don't think we could cope with that kind of drama. Now,
Well, there was another one.
in our world of fiction. Like, our world of non-fiction is just too much. So to be bombarded with that
Well, there was another
in your
intern.
relaxing times.
There was like a recurring intern who got hit by a bus and he was so badly disfigured they didn't know who he was, but they referred to him as 007. That was kind of their name for him. And so then he wrote on Meredith's hand 007 and then she figures out that it's the intern that's there on the bed and then he dies.
Oh,
McDreamy died. I didn't know that McDreamy
God.
died. Season 11, episode 21, he stops at a car accident only to get hit by a truck moments later.
Oh.
He's alive, but he can't speak. Oh, my God. After what we've talked about earlier, he's alive but can't speak. Watching bad doctors let him die. Meredith pulls the plug.
Oh, Meredith pulls the plug on McDreamy.
Yes.
That's just...
And
That
the
is
fans
too-
never got over that. So I don't think I can go into the Wayback Machine to season 11 because I think the haikus will be very dark.
I thought the news was bad, but this and we go to fiction to escape from the news, and then we get Grey's Anatomy, and it's worse than this is awful. I didn't even mean to boom during that. I'm sorry. We had another TV show though.
Yes.
which is more targeted at the gamer geeks and stuff. Attack of the Show. And Attack of the
watched
Show
this one.
was one of my favourite
We got the
shows.
Foxtel and we
Yes,
found it once.
yes.
And I was like, that's good.
And it's kind of sad that it's over now, but it made its debut on the 28th of March in 2005. And it was this tech gaming pop culture talk show that aired on G4 TV from 2005 to 2013. They had a brief revival, and it was this nerdy, chaotic and hilarious kind of mix of video games and movies and comics and internet culture and whatnot.
Big up on this.
I think I remember the theme. I think it
remember
was
that
like
robot.
reminds me of mid-afternoons when I used to get up from my nap
Yes.
after doing breakfast radio. You go for like a 1 hour, 2 hour nap in the afternoon and then get up and watch Attack of the Show and Deal or No Deal. And so I remember it for that. And it was really cool. I think the two people I remember most on it are Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn, but also Chris Hardwick, who I think, what did he end up doing?
I know that name, yeah.
Yeah, he ended up doing Nerdist. Chris Hardwick. And then there was a bit of scandal around him and all that sort of stuff.
That's
but
right.
Back in the day, it was all Attack of the Show and it was great.
That's
They
where
had-
Olivia Munn got her start in TV.
And she was
isn't it?
great. She
I
was
liked her, on
great
that. And she
as
held her own in the gaming, because it was very gaming heavy. And she'd do the game reviews, but she held her own really well in
she
that.
gave the extra mile too. She was hot. You know,
She
which always
was.
helps with the nerds.
Yes.
She's very hot,
Nerds loved her.
but also very savvy and very intelligent. She did well. They had
was funny.
They had the really cool segments like the feed where they do all the news updates and then they'd go into around
That was
the
my
net.
favourite. That was
They
the
do all the
pop culture.
viral videos. And then
Yes.
Gadget Prawn where they talk about devices. And then they do the indie games and the comic book stuff and then the pranks and stuff on each other. Sometimes they do
Oh,
challenges and
that's
whatever.
right. Yes.
And then they do all these guest appearances as well. So they had heaps of celebrities and stuff coming, but it just kind of ran out of steam. It was this big influence on gaming and pop culture and all of that sort of stuff. And I think it really helped set that trend or pave the way for anyone who was doing YouTube or whatever. Olivia Munn talks about what her thoughts on it were when it all went to crap.
You know, Attack of the Show was the flagship show for G4, and Kevin Pereira and I do believe it was lightning in a bottle with the two of us. I don't know if I will find another person that I meshed with as well, and I don't know if he will as well on the other side. What we had and what we could do together, it was like lightning in a bottle. And so I think when that show ended and when that chemistry ended between him and I think that, you know, that hurt probably the network, and I felt really bad about that, and I wanted to stay on the network in some capacity, and it was difficult, and they made it difficult. G4 made it difficult for me.
Yeah, so you can tell that it was kind of a bit messy. the way
Because
it kind of-
G4 moved away from gaming content, I
Well-
think, at one point, and that's why it was originally cancelled.
They just kind of ran out of time. And I think Olivia Munn actually in that interview or another one sort of says it best as well, because she's like, well, I'd love to see it happen now. But the problem is the audience for that can hack anything. So they can get it. They're ahead of the curve. So by the time you put the show out, the stuff's already
They already
dated.
know it. Yeah,
that's right.
that's true.
And there was that small window sort of between about 2005 and 2013 where they still were ahead of the curve because they were doing this daily and they had their fingers on the pulse and they generated so much content. And the chemistry between Olivia and Kevin was definitely the best out of all the hosts, I think,
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think so too.
They were excellent. But, massive influence. I mean, Olivia Munn went on to be in movies and stuff like that. She became quite famous because of it. I think she dated Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers for a while there. Thankfully, she saw the light and moved on from that. And then went on to be in movies like The Predator. Not great, but still, a movie's a movie. Anyway, they did shift away from that, and thus ends the era before it even began. And we just spoke about the beginning of it, so do with it what you will. Oh, it just dawned on me. We could have done Attack of the Show as a hatch if it made its debut. Is that breaking things?
That's dumb.
I
There's
broke it.
debuts all
Great,
the
it's
time.
dumb.
And then there's shows that end
Now-
all the time. You're just going to move half the show into Hatch, Match and Dispatch.
You just broke the first rule of brainstorming, which is there's no such thing as a bad idea.
Oh.
You can't just, if you were in a brainstorm with somebody, you can't just go, that's dumb.
I think you should rethink that idea.
You know what? I've rethought it.
Maybe circle back and then
I've
circle
rethought
back
it.
around
I'm
and
circling
then just
back.
move over to somewhere else.
I've circled back twice and now I'm spiraling down. And you're right, it was dumb.
Yeah, it was.
Let's do hatches, matches, dispatches. I can't even say dispatches. I tried. I think I did okay. A celebrity that died. Oh, we've got to do this. Now I'm getting things back on track. There's nothing like a really well-played recorder performed by a virtuoso musician to bring you back.
So soothing, isn't it?
It really is. It's just
Jerks you
like,
back
I mean,
into
you know,
reality.
they should put that on the Calm app.
That's how you get out of the Wayback Machine.
Yes.
The recorder
And now
of
you could do some bonus
present
content,
day.
like ship yourself out to Calm and go, listen, I was thinking, maybe the thing that this Calm app is missing is me.
It's a destination recorder.
Just playing some relaxing tunes on my trusty pink recorder.
Yes, yes. It's a good
That's not a
recorder.
metaphor
It's
either.
transparent
It is
too.
actually
it's
a
very
really,
early 2000s. You can
it's
see
a pink
through
transparent recorder. You play it, and if it doesn't like it, it'll say, that was fucking awful. Do it again. That's how transparent that recorder is. A dispatch.
Okay,
we need to be
serious now.
serious. We've had so
Someone
much death and destruction.
dies.
Yes, okay. It's a celebrity, a famous, well-known person that died on the 2nd of April 20 years ago that said this.
Dear young people of America, what I wish to you, listen to his voice. Do not be afraid.
Yeah, if you said Pope John Paul II, you'd be correct. He died on the 2nd of April in 2005, the 264th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He was 84 years old. His heart failed. His papacy began in 1978. That's a long-serving Pope.
That is,
I reckon.
yes.
You know, and remember we talked about him way back, I think, before Christmas, where he wasn't very well and he was doing the Christmas Mass and he was just kind of like,
Yeah.
he sounded very unwell.
So when you're a pope, you don't get to retire. Like your
don't
retirement
think
is
so.
just you die.
Death. Yeah.
Wow.
And okay, we know that on this podcast we do have a bit of an issue where sometimes we will talk about celebrities from 20 years ago, like your shifty shell shocks or whatever, and and then things will come to pass and they will pass away. And at the time of recording, the current Pope is unwell but
Very
still
unwell,
alive.
yes.
But he is very, very unwell. So by the time this goes to air, we may very well find ourselves in a similar situation to what we had 20 years ago on the 2nd of April when Pope John Paul II passed away.
Hopefully
Just
not.
saying.
Hopefully not.
It's okay. Long may the curse continue or not, it doesn't matter. They're very excited in Rome and at the Vatican right now for a couple of, one, because like, is he going to go? If he does, we get a new pope. Oh, we need to make the preparations for the new pope, but at the same time, we need to mourn the old pope. It's a catch-22.
Yeah,
but there is a lot of
the
excitement.
contingency planning.
There is
yes.
a buzz about the Vatican
Gosh.
while the pope is thinking
Anyway,
about...
back to this pope. Let's
Yes.
talk about John Paul.
Okay.
The People's Pope.
He was the People's
was the
Pope.
People's Pope.
From
I think he was
established
one of them-
1978, the People's Pope. Yep.
EST,
Yep.
7-8.
Used to get into the ring and do the people's elbow on all the heathens.
Was
Yeah.
he the first one that had the
If you
Pope-mobile?
smell what the Pope is cooking.
He was the first one that
He
had
did
the
have the
Pope-mobile.
Pope-mobile.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just thought that was cute. That was so cute.
Quick, Robin, to the Pope-mobile. He used to fight crime
Hurry
from
up,
it.
get in the
Yeah,
Pope-mobile.
used to fight crime.
One of the most influential.
Had a little red
and
phone in the middle of it. Commissioner Gordon would call him when he was on the road.
I think he was one of the most beloved popes in history.
He was. I think
And-
my mum went up to his mass
Met him.
when he went to Queensland.
Went to his
Maybe
ma-
he met
oh,
him.
did he go to
He got some
Queensland?
rosary beads blessed or some shit like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He died, as you said, at age 84 after a long battle. So I think he had Parkinson's.
Yeah. He was a mess.
But he also had heart failure because I think in in the lead up, he had a few illnesses over the because he was, like you said,
pneumonia and stuff.
Yeah, he was unwell at the Christmas mass, but then I think he got pneumonia. I think he had sepsis as well.
Well, that's going to end
He
you
had
pretty quick.
Parkinson's and then heart failure. So I think it was a
You know what he
combination
had?
of a lot of different
You know what he
things.
had at
Tired.
84 years old?
Tired.
He'd had
enough.
That's right. He'd had enough.
And no retirement. God,
Exactly.
that's so
He'd had
harsh.
enough. He's just
So
like, you know what?
harsh.
Time for another pope. I've been doing this since 1978. I'm
Need a
84
rest.
years old.
I need a
There's no superannuation coming my way except for whatever coins people put on the plate and at mass. And I am done. I've had enough. So he packed it in. God rest his soul. He's my pope. He's the pope that I remember.
That's the pope I grew up with.
He's the
yes.
pope that I
He's
remember
my
all the
pope
pictures
too.
of. He's my pope. So that was my pope.
With with the thing and the Pope mobile.
with the Pope hair and the Pope mobile, the big
and the
Kevlar
stick,
and the stick, the Pope
with
stick,
with the hook at
the
the
scepter,
end.
the Pope's scepter.
Yeah.
He used that
What
to
does he use that for?
Fighting crime, like the Pope mobile. Same thing. He's to fight crime.
Millions gathered in St. Peter's Square.
Yeah.
And mourning his death. World leaders and religious figures paid tribute. George W. Bush, QE2, Fidel
That's the
Castro.
Queen, not the boat. Yeah.
The boat was very upset. 24/7 news report. I remember because
Of course, 'cause
when
you gotta
they
wait for
die, the steam
You got
comes
to wait
out,
for the
doesn't it?
smoke
Oh, the
to
smoke.
come out of
Yeah.
the smoke to come out of
smoke.
They're burning the papers
So
or
everyone
whatever,
was-
and they're like, "Oh, the Pope's dead. The smoke's coming out." of the
Everyone's
thing."
waiting for the smoke.
They ring the
Yes,
bells
is it going
and
to smoke or is it not going to smoke? There was a lot. There's a lot going on.
I think we just got on a lot of tradition, but it's important. apparently,
Breakfast
to-
TV, we're doing
them.
live
Oh,
broadcast
yeah.
outside waiting for the smoke.
Well, we're here and the smokestack is doing f*** all. That's what they'd be doing. Back to you.
4 million people went to the funeral.
Oh, yeah, it's a big funeral.
Or went to Rome when the funeral was. I don't know if they actually went to the funeral.
It's like
but
Pope stock.
200 world leaders, one of the largest gatherings of dignitaries in history.
He was the people's pope.
He was buried in the Vatican grottos beneath St. Peter's
That's where
Basilica.
they put all of them in the grottos. under
And
the
then
basilica, yeah.
was declared a saint in 2014 by Pope Francis.
Pope Francis, yeah, I remember that. I
I
remember when he was
do,
declared a
yeah.
saint.
Yeah,
JP,
it took a while.
JP the second,
Yeah.
he was a good pope.
Sad.
In the Pope mobile. Well, sad to a point, but I think he was probably relieved. You know, like he said, he'd had enough. And so have we. That's the end of the show. We've had enough, and you've probably had enough of our bull this week as well. We had a good time. I hope you did too. We do appreciate you listening. I don't even think we need to cover off next week. It's been too much. But if it hasn't been too much for you and you want a little bit more, come and find us on the socials.
And if
Come
you want to
find
have a
us
whinge,
on the socials. Yeah,
send
have
us
a boom.
message because then we'll put your booms on. Like I think we did fluff and muffins and we did Ron's.
Should have done that in the actual segment. That's
I
how
should have plugged
professional
it.
we are. Well, I could have done
Then,
it too. It's
yeah.
not, I mean, it's not
I was
your ball to drop
We're
all
too
the time.
busy complaining, too busy
That's right.
booming. So if you've got a boom, send us a message.
Please do.
We'll
Oh,
feature
my
it.
God.
Feature
If you-
it. I
and-
do have a backlog of booms. I'll just say that. It might take a while to get through them. but
Not
send me
only
one.
will we feature it, but if it's really good and we've got nothing else to kind
We
of
might ring
deliver.
you. We'll
No,
ring you.
I wasn't going to say that. That's too
Oh.
far.
Leave a voice message.
Oh, you can?
Voice message, record your boom,
Oh,
and
and then
send
we'll
it as
play
a
it.
DM, and then
Yeah.
we'll play it,
Yeah.
and then put a lot of energy, a lot of love, a lot of passion into your boom, and we'll play it.
We'll play it, absolutely, with all the
Yes.
effects and around it. And that
Beautiful.
sounds all wonderful. That's really
Sounds
ambitious.
good.
But if nobody does that and we don't have anything to put
But
on.
we'll never talk of it again. No,
Okay,
it's fine.
we'll just
Don't worry
pretend
about
it never happened.
Whatever.
That's fine. Sounds good. All right, come find us on the socials anyway. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube. Search for T-20 podcast.
But can you boom on Instagram? Because that's the one I pay attention to. Joe's meant to look after all the others, and he doesn't.
Well, sort of.
So if you boom
I'm
over
a
there,
busy
no one
man.
will hear you.
I'm a busy man.
Boom to me on the Insta.
I don't understand that social media or anything it's about, and I'm scared that people will come on there and eviscerate me. But we'll look after you. I promise you. Send us your booms. We'll definitely do
Yes.
it. And if nobody shows any enthusiasm and it becomes a dismal failure, we'll never speak
We'll
of it
just
again.
complain ourselves.
Or we'll
That's
just
fine.
make a
I've
bunch
got
of shit up and
plenty
keep
of
complaining.
complaints.
Exactly. But we love you and we appreciate you and we do hope to see you next week.
Yes, bye.
Thanks for taking the time to rewind. Join us next time for another week that was 20 years ago. In the meantime, come and reminisce on the socials. Search for T-20 Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.